personalities and our listeners. Myself, Kirtana Santosh, Assistant Professor of Histories from St. Mary's College Autonomous, Thuthukudi, Tamil Nadu. So, the topic I would like to discuss with you is nothing but the emerging trends in history. So, this topic could not be more timely, it seems, especially in such a conference. So, you all know that some of you may be familiar with the subject history, and nowadays history is no longer just about kings, wars, and dates. In an era marked by global uncertainties, digital transformation, and challenges to historical truth, the discipline of history is undergoing a dramatic and necessary evolution. The field is being reshaped not just by new technologies or academic trends, but by the very question we ask and the people we listen to. The practice of history, once confined to the state archives and elite institutions, has now become plural, participatory, and provocatively interdisciplinary. So we can see many trends in history, and one of the most important one is that a shift from the political history to people's histories. For much of the 19th and early 20th centuries, history was synonymous with the actions of great men, monarchs, and military generals. But a significant shift occurred in the mid 20th century with the rise of social history. Influenced by the Annales school in France, particularly the works of Marc Bloch and Ferdinand Braudel, historians began to focus on structures and the live experience of ordinary people. Today, the trajectory has expanded further. We have subaltern studies inspired by the works of Ranajit Guha and Divesh Chakrabarti. Then they challenge the colonial and elite centric narratives. Then we have feminist historiography as advanced by scholars such as Gerda Lerner and Uma Chakrabarti. And we have Dalit history, Adivasi narratives, and even queer historiography, which is reshaping our study, our views, and how we study it and why it matters. These approaches are not mere additions to existing history, they represent epistemological shifts in understanding power, voice, and agency. And another important shift is that of the digital and computational history. One of the most transformative trends in recent years has been the emergence of digital humanities, digitalization of archives, the use of big data analytics, and geographic information systems, that is GIS, have enabled historians to analyze patterns, trends, and movements in ways that were previously unimaginable. So you can consider the Stanford Spatial History Project or the mapping of the Republic of Letters initiative. Actually, they are just tools for visualization, but platforms for analytical storytelling. So such aspects have completely changed the existing or the trends of existed trends of history. Then one of the most important aspect is the interdisciplinary approaches that is increasing in history. Now history engages with many more subjects like anthropology, archaeology, sociology, economics, environmental studies, and more. Even new realms of history like economic history, historical sociology, environmental history are coming, which offers richer, multidimensional insights. We can even see certain things like environmental and climate historiography, climate history. That is also a rising trend in the integration of environmental perspectives into historical inquiry. Environmental history, as Donald Woster views nature as an active participant in history, not a passive backdrop. In the context of climate change, this has acquired new urgency. Historians are now investigating the historical roots of environmental degradation, colonial extractivism, and ecological inequality. The concept of the Anthropocene, though debated, has introduced a plenary perspective that calls to the questions the anthropocentric timelines of modernity. So the works such as Divesh Chakrabarti's The Climate of History in a Planetary Age push us to rethink historical time, human agency, and global responsibility. Likewise, memory studies and public history. While traditional history focused on archives and texts, there is now increasing attention on how history is remembered, contested, and performed in the public sphere. Memory studies as shaped by theories like Nora and Asman probe the dynamics of collective memory and trauma. Public history initiatives ranging from museum exhibitions and historical walks to podcast and YouTube channels are democratizing the historical knowledge. So even though it has some problems, it is actually democratizing. More people are getting access to the concept of history. Then the decolonizing history and the epistemic justice. A major intellectual and ethical trend is the call to decolonize history. This may involves more than removing colonial statues or renaming routes. It challenges the Eurocentric frameworks and methodologies that have historically shaped historical inquiry. Then India also we can see such many traditions like the Idihasa or oral genealogies are getting more importance. It was mainly to decolonize the existing history. Then the transnational and global history. So you know that in an interconnected world, the nation state is no longer the only or even the most relevant thing. Global history, as advocated by Sebastian Conrad and Kenneth, moves beyond national boundaries to explore networks, flows, and entanglements of people, ideas, commodities, and even pathogens. For instance, the global histories of slavery, the Indian Ocean trade, or the spread of pandemics reveal shared past and mutual dependencies. Actually, it studies about the studies of migration, trade networks, and colonial encounters across borders, which encourages a more holistic and less Eurocentric perspective. Then, historiography as a reflexive practice. Lastly, we can see that emerging trends compel us to historian as a detached observer to one who is self-reflexive, aware of their what to say the positionality, biases, context, even his own passivism. Like he can't be objective in all the times. So such kind of drawbacks is now acceptable. As John Scott famously said, history is not simply about recovering the past. It is about the interpreting the structures of meaning that organize human experiences. This means embracing ambiguity, multiplicity, and debate as integral to our craft. So, as a conclusion, we can say that history is actually dynamic and inclusive. It is undergoing a profound transformation from disciplinary boundaries to digital tools, from elite narratives to inclusive voices, from national frameworks to global entanglements. As historians, educators, and learners, our task is not merely to chronicle change, but to engage with it critically, ethically, and imaginatively. Let us embrace this existing moment of renewal in our field, not as a challenge to the discipline of history, but as its greatest opportunity. History, after all, is not the study of the past for its own sake. It is the practice of memory, meaning, and moral imagination. So, this is my presentation mainly about.
Thank you for inviting me. I congratulate Kirtna Santosh